Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Mr. Fitness, the body transformation specialist. And on today's episode of Weight Loss Warriors, we're going to be speaking to Leann. So Leann is someone that I admire. She's one of my followers on Instagram, but I admire her story. So we're about to get Leann on this live, and she's going to share with you today from where she's been, where she's at right now, and where she's looking to go with her story. So you're probably wondering who Weight Loss Warriors is for. So Weight Loss Warriors is for two people. So it's for that first group that is looking to start a journey but doesn't quite know where to start. If you fit into that group, then you're going to learn some things today that is going to help you get started. But on the other end, for that group of people that may have started a journey already, but maybe they hit a plateau, or maybe they need some different things to do. Leann and I will share with you today some things that you can do to kickstart your progress and get you moving forward. So we're here today to motivate, inspire, and to encourage you that you too can do the same. So before we get Leann on here, I'm going to be uploading these episodes to my YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, you're going to want to go to youtube.com/fitnessmotivation, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2. So there you'll be able to find every episode of Weight Loss Warriors, plus a lot of other good content. Now, if you'd like to be on a future episode of Weight Loss Warriors and share your story with the world, then if you're watching this live, why don't you go ahead and DM me and let's talk. If you're watching this on the rebroadcast on YouTube, then I'm going to leave a link down below with my email where you can email me and we can discuss you and your story. So with that being said, I am now going to invite in Leann into the live. So Leann, let's see if we can get her in here. All right. Hopefully she'll be getting on here in just a second. Let's see. All right. This is new for me, y'all. So this is episode number 2 of Weight Loss Warriors today. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have my eye. There she is. What's up, Leann?
Hey, hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very good. So Leann today, like I said, is going to share with you her story of where she's been, where she's at right now, and where she's looking to go. And she's going to talk about everything in between. So Leann is someone that I admire. I've been looking at her story and watching her journey. And, after talking with Leann, I am even more excited about where she's going to go, but everything that she's been through to get to where she's at right now. So I'm going to stop talking so Leann can get to sharing her story. Like I said, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes, because you leave it up to me and I will talk about everything and anything and I'll be completely off track. So we are going to avoid that from happening today by looking at my notes here and there. So just want to let you know, if you see me looking down, that's what's going on. But Leann, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. Just got home from a job interview, but other than that, just
okay. So let's I like to get right into it. So let's kind of where were you at your heaviest, and where are you at right now?
At my heaviest, recorded 370, and today I am 229.
Oh wow. Okay. So guys, you heard it first. That is a huge weight loss, a huge progress. And today, she's going to talk about exactly what she's done to make that progress a reality. So we had a really good conversation, and I gathered a lot of information. Yeah. So today, we're going to share that information with you. So Leann, you had some health issues as a child.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about that and how that affected, you growing up and getting to where you were. How do you think that affected your progress or where you were?
Yeah, I was born with diabetes insipidus.
Okay.
And then optic nerve hypoplasia. And then also I have I'm hypothyroid.
Okay.
So basically my thyroid's really slow, which if anybody's hypothyroid, they know you cannot lose weight if it's off. Diabetes insipidus, you drink more, is basically the like easy prognosis of it.
Okay.
And then the optic nerve hypoplasia is basically just kind of wrapped up in your pituitary and everything like that.
Okay. So what role do you think that played in you being where you were before you started this journey?
Well, when I was a kid, it started when I was really young. So when you are younger or you're a baby, you drink milk. And since I had diabetes insipidus when I was born, I associated drinking more. So, I was always hungry as a kid
Uh-huh.
because there's no separation. Your liquid is your food until you can eat solids. So that was kind of a setback, but we didn't know. I didn't even get diagnosed until I was 8 years old. So it went on for a while.
Yeah, so, and I don't know if everybody knows this about me, but I'm also a diabetic. I am a type 1 diabetic. So, diabetes is one of those diseases, regardless of what type of diabetes you have, that it does either cause you to gain weight or you can, well, for most people that have diabetes, they're gonna tend to gain weight faster than people that don't have diabetes because of the metabolic disorder and insulin and sugar and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're suffering from diabetes, there is hope that you too can still see progress with the disease. It's a very manageable disease, and we won't go into all the details of the disease, but just know that you do have hope to get to where you want to be. So take us back to, part of what we talked about was the kind of the relationship you had with your mother and how that affected your progress and your start. Talk to us about that relationship.
Yeah. So me and my mom have always had kind of a rocky relationship. She loves me unconditionally and everything like that, but when it comes to my weight standpoint, it's very different. She's always been super high strung, teeny tiny, and I have always been the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lifelong struggle. And, she's tried everything. She's been frustrated. I've been frustrated that she's frustrated. So it just causes a lot of tension, especially when you're born with something that kind of causes this
Yeah.
whole thing to spiral out of control. And, whenever I was little, she was trying to figure it out, and she had doctors telling her that she was crazy. And it's just this big, long thing. But, at the end of the day, we just have our differences with how we see things. And so it caused a lot of turmoil when it came to my weight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, would how would you categorize I guess, the women in your family? Are most of them thin? Are they, bigger? Is it half and half?
Most of them are thinner. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty thin. My mom's really thin. My sister's really thin. Everyone pretty much pretty. There's been a
So,
few people, but not a whole lot.
okay. So, do you believe that that kind of caused the friction between you and your mother? That was she expecting that you should have been thinner because she was thinner and you weren't? What do you think was her thought process behind pushing you so hard to become, I guess, her vision of you?
Um, that's a hard one. I mean, I do know that my mom, she's just one of those types of people. She's a push, like she pushes people, like she will push you and, like get you to go to like, you can't stop anymore. That's just how she is. It's like all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's hard to say if it stems off of anything like that, but I do know that, from her personal experience, she's never been overweight. She's always been really small.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
less.
So do you believe that if your relationship with your mother was different, that you would have had a different path? Do you believe that your path would have been different if your relationship with your mother was different?
I feel like it would have been different for sure, just because, I did things because her will was so strong, and if I didn't do them, it was kind of her way or the highway.
Okay. So I guess the first time you and your mother really took action on you getting to where she had a vision of you being was, I believe you said it was the summer of your seventh grade year where you went off
Hmm.
to that the I guess what we call the, what do you call it, the fat school or something?
That was when, yeah, I went to Wellspring. It's basically like a fat camp,
Okay.
to put it in
So
short terms.
talk to us about that experience. That was the summer of your seventh grade year,
Hmm.
correct?
So yeah, so I went to Wellspring Academy, or Wellspring. At that point, it was just a summer camp,
Okay.
and it was basically from whenever school got out till right before school started. So it was basically 2 months. We'll say 2 months, 60
Okay.
days, something like that. And it's very regimented. You wake up, you walk 3 miles, you get done with that, you go eat breakfast, and then you are out and about doing activities all day long. So then you go to lunch. You're also tracking. You have a step, like a pedometer. You have your calorie book, all of that. And so your whole day is like either being active or tracking your calories,
Mm-hmm.
or like learning about different stuff like that until you go to bed. And then you wake up and do the same thing all over again with a
And
few different activities.
okay, so you said that was like a period of about 2 months to 3 months?
Yeah, it was like the length of summer. So whenever you get out of school in like the end of May until right before school started, so in August. So I'd say it was about 2.5 months.
Okay. So what were some of the takeaways for you from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, from that, I definitely learned, that the different aspects, like they had a fruit and veggie bar, like those are kind of like your uncontrolled foods. Like you have to track them, but it's not like super proportioned like everything else that they give you. So, you kind of learn that you can have like your fruits and veggies and yogurt and cottage cheese, kind of at a greater quantity and not so like controlled.
Okay.
So it was like kind of like controlled but uncontrolled, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you could eat those kind of freely. So like if you're not full after what you ate, you could definitely go fill up on fruits and veggies
Okay.
basically and track those. And then also the different activities, you learn different things that you like. They took us on hikes and bike rides and different fitness classes. So you kind of get to know like what you like, what you don't really care for, and things like that.
So I'm a firm believer of structure, and
Hmm.
structure being an important part of success for people. So do you believe that that structure set you up for success now, or do you believe that that structure was more detrimental later on down the road? Because you also went, which we're going to talk about, on a longer stint at this school.
Hmm.
So how do you feel about that structure, and how important is that for anyone going on this type of journey?
I mean, it's kind of a two-way street. So
Okay.
structure in itself, like in that, like you kind of have only one way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can really turn around. Like you're pretty much driven in the path of success.
Yeah.
But in the same instance, like when you take that completely controlled, like super controlled thing away, unless take everything that you learn from it, then it's hard to kind of veer off. And me, I was in seventh, eighth grade, so I was younger. I wasn't, it wasn't something that was like high on my mind to like
Mm-hmm.
focus on this lifestyle
Yeah.
and everything like that. So in that instance, yes, I lost the weight, but if you lose do that, and then it's really easy to revert back when you get back home. So,
So then your freshman year in high school, the year of high school where you're finally becoming an adult, quote unquote,
mhm.
you're at this school for the whole entire year.
Hmm.
So how rough was that, knowing that all your friends are enjoying high school as a quote unquote normal kid, and you're at this school in an environment with people that you didn't really know, or maybe you didn't know them because some of them were probably there and when you were there in seventh grade. But how was it like being there for a whole year? And this was not just a school year, this was the whole year.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I didn't know anybody that was there, because it was the same like company like
Yeah.
that did the camps, but it was in California versus
Oh,
the camp that I went to was like right up the road from where I lived.
okay.
So they had different places, different branches, and everything like that. So I stayed there, I think, from like August to August or
Okay.
something like that. It was a full 12-month period.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically a boarding school, weight loss boarding school is what it was.
Okay.
And so I did that. It was the same routine kind of as the camp. You wake up in the morning, you do 3 mile walk or some type of exercise. You get ready for school, you go eat breakfast, go to school, have your like, PE class, um, eat lunch and all that stuff. And then you go and you change and you basically do some other type of physical activity before dinner. And then if you eat dinner and then you do some other type of activity and then you go to bed and you do that. We basically did that for a year until the summer. And then I think it was a little bit different. It was more like the camp version of it.
Okay. So for the school year version of it, it was more like a regular school, but in summer camp, it was like more like a summer camp for kids.
Yeah, like you would go on hikes and go to different places. I mean, we definitely did some cool different things and we got to go on like to the sequoias, different things like that. Go to Pismo Beach, learn to surf. And so there's definitely cool things that we did.
Yeah. All right. So there's probably going to be some parents that are going to be watching this, and they may be looking for solutions for their kids.
Hmm.
What advice would you give to a parent that may be looking for solutions and may view this
Hmm.
as a potential solution to getting their child to a better place?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, if you and your child or whatever have a rocky relationship about weight itself,
Mm-hmm.
maybe just try to figure out how you're going about it. And if you're coming on pretty strong about it, I would definitely say like take an easier approach because especially if they're growing up, like they're still trying to figure out everything themselves.
Yeah.
And so like just take a different approach at it. And if you're thinking about sending them to a camp or something like that, like definitely try to talk to them, but do it in a way that doesn't seem like it's my way or the highway. Like you don't have any say in this because when when people like in general, especially me, when I feel like I don't have a say in something, well, it's like, well, whatever, it's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like your will against my will, and my will is like, no, I don't want to go. And so like if you are trying to push something on somebody, whether it's weight or whatever it is, like you can't like go at them like full force. Like you have to be understanding and understand where they're coming from. So I would definitely just try to talk it out with them in a different way that you haven't done before and
Okay.
get on the same page before you open up this huge like taboo thing for them and then go from there.
Yeah. So I think this kind of leads perfectly into, the ending of this. Now the camp is over. Now, one of the
Hmm.
things we talked about was the long haul of the results. And one of the things you had mentioned was that you gained most of the weight back, if not all of the weight back after the camp, shortly after. Why do
Yeah.
you think that
So
was?
I think I went to the school around 250-ish at about, freshman year, and I left at about 170. And so, and then as soon as I got back, I basically within about 2 years gained it all back, because I was kind of in revenge mode for my mom sending me there. I was so mad that she took me out of my, familiar atmosphere with my few friends that I had, my going into high school
Mm-hmm.
year, like all of these different things, all the sports I was in, she took me out of that and put me into this random environment that I didn't have any say about. And so when I got back, I was just like, I'll show you, even though you sent me here, like that's not going to phase me,
Yeah.
basically.
So what do you say to people that might also be thinking that way? Because even though you had gotten a lot of progress from that
Hmm.
experience, because it wasn't necessarily your choice to engage in that experience, you rebelled against the progress, self
Hmm.
sabotage. And I find a lot of people do that even in the gyms. Like, one of the things I stopped doing as a coach and a trainer is telling people what they can and can't do. Because what I learned
Hmm.
over a long time is when I tell somebody they can't do something, even if they
They're
don't
going to
want
do
to
it.
do it, it's just the natural ego of not wanting somebody else to tell you what you can and can't do. So if I would tell
Hmm.
my clients you can't eat cookies and you can't eat cake and you can't do this, even if they didn't want to do it, they would still
Hmm.
do it. So
Yeah.
I learned that it doesn't always benefit telling people what they can and can't do. But now looking back, would you have done that differently? I know you were still young, 10th grade going into 11th. Would you have done that differently? Would you have done it to spite your mother?
No, I mean, had I had, I guess the maturity and insight that I have now, no, I
Mm-hmm.
definitely would have. But me being, young and, kind of resenting the situation,
Uh-huh.
like that was definitely in my head, that was the best revenge I could get back. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I regret that. But
Yeah.
at the time, I don't think, maybe if circumstances were different in the way that my mom came into me with it and we had a better relationship, it might have been different, but it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. So now let's fast forward a little bit. You graduated high school and now you're moving on to your adult life. Where were
Hmm.
you at that point with your weight, graduating high school?
Graduating high school, I want to say upwards of almost 300, if not in the 300s, like 320s maybe.
Okay.
Um, so I would say probably around 320, 330 maybe. That's probably a good guess.
Okay. So so when you graduated high school, correct me if I'm wrong, but you went on to beauty school.
Yes, I
Okay.
moved out of my house when I basically right after my senior year. So I graduated in June. I moved out by August. And I moved about 3.5 hours away to Stephenville, where I went to cosmetology school for a year there for that.
Okay. So what was your activity like? What role at this point did exercise and eating right? What role did those things play at this point in your life?
Well, I wasn't involved in any sports like I had been in high school. I was in volleyball, cheerleading, basketball. So I was really active. I was in all kinds of organizations. And then I moved to college and I didn't really, or, beauty school. And all I was doing was that. So I wasn't in any like sports or, anything like that. So really, I just went to beauty school, which was basically my work, and then kind of hung out with my friends for the meantime.
So now you kind of switched careers at this point. You're doing pretty
Hmm.
good at that
Yeah.
point in your life. Take us back to your relationship at that point with your mother. Did it change because you had lost some weight, you gained some weight, you had lost some weight? Where were you and your mother at that point?
Well, I moved out of my house, so it was a lot better in that aspect because she wasn't there, kind of forcing me into her thoughts and kind of that type of mentality. So, our relationship was definitely better because we're not in the same environment.
Yeah.
So in that instance,
Mm-hmm.
it led, things to get easier for our relationship. I hadn't, in high school and the weight was up and down, and then now it was kind of like she wasn't there, like she didn't have to know about it. Like I could control what I told her, what I didn't tell her,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing.
So you're gonna, and you probably know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that go through a lot of ups and downs with their weight,
Hmm.
the roller coaster, the consistent I
Yeah.
lose, I gain, I lose, I gain.
Hmm.
You stayed the course and you've gotten some great results. What encouragement
Hmm.
would you give those people to continue along the path to moving closer to their goals?
Yeah, I mean, just don't get discouraged and, change it up and don't, you know, do any crazy like fad diets that are going to restrict you from eating, foods that you like. Like if it restricts fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, like try, there's the whole flexible dieting movement. I truly believe that that is a great thing to be a part of
Mm-hmm.
because, it's not about, not being able to eat something. It's making it macro friendly to make it fit your macros to where you can eat a brownie. Maybe it's a protein brownie, but it's still a brownie. Like
Yeah.
that is something that I think would definitely help a lot of people. I mean, I've done a lot. I've done Adkins, I've done South Beach, I've
Mm-hmm.
done, ideal protein. Pretty much anything you throw at me, I've probably done it at some point. And if I don't remember it, I've probably done it. So, now with where I'm at, I'm just kind of doing, flexible dieting, I guess is what you would call it.
Okay. So now we're kind of fast forwarding. We're at the end. We're around October of well, let me before we go there. Uh Around 2016, I believe it was, or maybe it was 2017. Maybe the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017,
Hmm.
when you joined Orange Theory.
Yeah. So I had moved out of Stephenville in the end of 20. So the end of 2015, I moved from Stephenville and I got a new job as a leasing manager in San Marcos. And then it was the beginning of 2016 that I got a membership at Orange Theory.
Okay.
Or I think it was 2016 or 2017. I keep getting those dates mixed around. So in January, I started Orange Theory and I did that for about 4 months.
So, what was your progress over that time of going to Orange Theory? Were you dieting? Obviously, you were exercising. What was your diet
Hmm.
like, and what was your progress like?
So I was definitely trying to watch what I eat. I don't know that I was going like full force, crazy dieting, but I was definitely watching what I was eating. And I was going to Orange Theory probably 4 times a week, if not more. I had an unlimited membership, so I could go as much as I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say I lost about 10 pounds, maybe.
Okay. So, definitely not what you were expecting for the
No.
efforts you were putting in.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing I think a lot of people fight with is I'm doing all this exercise and I'm eating good and I'm not losing any weight. Then people say,
Yeah.
well, what's the sense? Why am I doing all this and I'm not getting that progress that I should be getting? What do you say to those
Mhm.
people? Because a lot of those people are ready to give up. What do you say
Yeah.
to
I
them?
mean, definitely don't give up, especially if you are, doing weight training,
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. Like you're building muscle, it's inevitable. Like muscle at the end of the day weighs more and burns more fat. So, even if the scale is not moving, like take measurements.
Uh-huh.
Measurements can be a really good tool to use. The scale is stupid. I hate the scale
Uh-huh.
sometimes. But definitely like find other things like the way your clothes fit. Like get a pair of jeans that are smaller and like try those on. I'm a visual person, so measurements, the scale, the number, all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff, those all help me. But if the scale's not moving and you feel like you're busting your ass, like explore different options and see like look at the different things that you're doing. Maybe you're, not eating enough. There's a lot of people that eat like 1,000 calories a day and they're like, all right, that's all I need to eat because that's what society tells them. If you're working out at Orange Theory and you're burning 600 calories and then, you're only eating 1,000, your body's going to go into starvation mode. So you just have to play around with different things as far as that goes.
Yeah. So then you, around March, I believe you said you went to the doctor
Hmm.
and they recommended a diet for you.
Yeah, so I went to the doctor and they recommended doing ideal protein.
And talk to us about that diet. What were the benefits? What were some of the positives? What were some of the negatives of that diet?
Yeah, so ideal protein, it's super controlled. You're eating probably 700 to 1,000 calories a day at max. And so they don't want you to work out. They made me quit Orange Theory. They're like, you can't work out
Mm-hmm.
and, eat this little, you'll basically pass out. Like you can't. Like you can do like walking and stuff, but nothing like weightlifting, weight training, Orange Theory like. So I had to stop Orange Theory. You have weekly like weigh-ins that you go to your doctor and you weigh in with, and they take like your measurements and
Mm-hmm.
weight. So, you get kind of that support in that way. And then you also have certain foods that you can have and not have. So you can have as many like vegetables as you want, no fruits. And then you have the different foods that you'll buy from them that you eat for like your meals, or eat one for a meal. And then have like a cup of salad or something. And then you'll have your protein snacks. So it was really expensive,
Mm-hmm.
really, really expensive, and the food tasted horrible. So those were two things that really stinked. And you didn't eat a whole lot at all. And when you did, you hated the food. So it was like not sustainable at all. And then the positives, I would probably say, you're losing a ton of weight. So that's kind of a positive in a sense, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah, because you went from 370 when you started that diet, and that was back, I believe, in from by the summertime of 2016. You went from
Hmm.
370 to 290.
Yeah,
And the majority of what you were doing was just eating right. You were on this diet.
correct. Yeah.
But then around October of 2017, you had already stopped the diet and you were back up to about 340 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
So
2016, not 2017. Yeah.
20, okay.
October 20.
So
Yeah.
you're going to have people that are going to be trying all different types of diets.
Hmm.
What are your keys to a successful diet? What are the key things that you need
Something
think a successful diet needs to have?
I definitely think it needs to have like an inclusive like food group, like not just like not completely cut out a food group like carbs or fats or, anything like that. Like I don't think it needs to eliminate one food group
Mm-hmm.
completely. It needs to be like a well balanced, like well rounded diet, so that you can sustain it in the long run. Like if it's cutting, I mean, there's some people that can do that, like keto, like that's, some people love that, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Something that you like if you look at a diet and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna be hungry, I'm not gonna like this, like you've already telling yourself you're not gonna like it, so you're not gonna like it, and it's not gonna be sustainable for you. But if you find something that you like, whether a lot of people like Weight Watchers, it's pretty inclusive, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
Weight Watchers or say you do like keto, try keto. But you just have to figure out what you like, and if it cuts something out that you don't like and you feel deprived, that's the whole thing. Like if it cuts out carbs and you enjoy carbs, like you're depriving what you like. So that would be
So
my biggest thing.
do you think that cutting out certain types of, let's say, carbs
Hmm.
are better than completely eliminating the whole food group?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they always say, eat like your more complex carbs, like rices and stuff like that, instead of, processed sugary foods. Like you definitely have to be smart about it, but you're not omitting it.
Yeah.
That's definitely the
Okay.
biggest thing.
So now we're fast forwarding a little bit. We're beginning 2018,
Hmm.
and you started seeing some of your friends that were
Hmm.
losing massive amounts of weight. And you found out that their method of doing it
Hmm.
was the VSG. So,
Hmm.
can you explain what that is to people that may not be familiar, that may be watching?
Yeah, so VSG is vertical sleeve gastronomy. And what that is they basically go, and it's a surgery, and they go and they cut your stomach, and they make it like I think 80% of its other or previous size. So it's like a sleeve. So it's basically the same size as, everything else it flows into. So it's not like a large stomach anymore. It's like a tube essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So they go in and they remove portion of that with that.
Okay. So was that the start of your research?
Like looking up what it was,
Yeah.
or yeah. So, well, I saw a few of my friends and they had lost a lot of weight, and so like I reached out to them, and they were like, "Yeah, I did this," and then, I started researching online kind of what it was, and saw all the results, and it showed you, there's VSG, there's bypass, and things like that, and VSG was kind of like the less invasive of the options. Bypass, they kind of reroute things and things like that, and then there's all kinds of other things now, but so that one was like the most like least
Mm-hmm.
invasive. And then I had found on Facebook that there was a page, and I looked up that, and I found a couple more people that I didn't know had it done, and I reached out to them and got a little information from them, and I ultimately ended up going through a lighter me in Mexico. And I kind of made the decision to do that in March of 2018.
So what hesitations or concerns did you have prior to getting the surgery?
I mean, I obviously had, like, what if it doesn't work? Like, what if there's complications and things like that? But honestly, where I was at, it was kind of like, it's your only, like, this is it. Like, you've tried everything. This is gonna work. Like, you have to like believe it. You have to believe in yourself. Like, this is gonna work. And so, I just, there's complications with anything. If you go and you get anything done, there's going to be complications. If you get a tattoo, like there's complications in
Yeah.
anything you do. You could get in a wreck driving down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of your life. You're always making a bet or a gamble. And so you just have to kind of figure out like what you're willing to put your cards on the table for.
So did you ever think about backing out of the surgery once you made up your mind that it was something you wanted to do? Was there that thought
Mm-mm.
that, maybe I shouldn't do this?
No, I never had that thought at all. It never, I mean, the pre-op diet, it was pretty like restricted, but it's not like anything I haven't not done before.
Yeah.
Like ideal protein was pretty, but I mean, it wasn't something where I was like, nope, I'm got cold feet, I'm gonna back out now. Like I never had that kind of feeling, but I know a lot of people do. And if you are feeling that, like you're gonna have feelings like that throughout your whole life, and you have to figure out like, all right, is this gonna benefit you or is it not gonna benefit you? Like there's a lot of things that you go through in life that are going to scare the shit out of you. Like that's just point blank, like growing up, whatever it is. But you just have to kind of figure out, all right, this is when I want to lay my cards on for. This is what I'm going all in for. And just go for it. Like put everything out there and don't be scared. Like it's in the instance, like building up to surgery, it's scary. But the surgery itself, it's microscopic. It's not like they're cutting you open. You're literally going to have 4 to 6 little tiny holes, and that's it. It's all done microscopically, and you might have a drain. But other than that, it's super easy. With the end of surgery, I think 2 or 3 hours after surgery, I was up walking around.
Okay.
So it's not like super invasive.
So now you said you went to Mexico.
Yes, I went
So
through a lighter me.
why did you choose to go out of the country to have your surgery done?
I chose to go out of the country for a few reasons. For one, the price in the United States, it's like $1,700, I think, 1,500, depending where you go. And in Mexico, it was like 5,000, a little over 5,000. Also, the approval rate for like your insurance. Sometimes they don't even approve you, so then you have to pay that 17,000, and then if they do, you have to go through 6 months to a year of like intensive supervised dieting, and
Mm-hmm.
like if you lose weight, you like disqualify and all this stuff. And I honestly didn't have a year to give away. Like I was like, I've made up my mind. This is what I want to do. Like I don't want to have to, you know, for one, pay like 3 times more than I could pay here and have to deal with all of this stuff. Like I know I need to get this done.
So
So
what was your weight prior to the surgery?
So before I started pre-op, I was 345. So my highest was 370. I had pre-op diet at 345, and the day of surgery I was 335.
So what's your weight now?
So as of this morning, I'm 229.
Wow. Okay.
So
Congratulations. That
thank
deserves a
you.
clap. That is very good.
Yeah.
So, I think people have to understand that surgery is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the end all be all. And it is
Yeah.
not the easy way out. Okay,
Yeah,
so
not at all.
I used to work actually with a surgeon years ago before these surgeries became as sophisticated as they are now. And what we would do is he would send people to me because a lot of times they want you to lose a certain amount of weight prior to the surgery. So
Yeah.
he would send them to me to get them to that pre-surgery weight. And then what I would do is I would send people to him
Mm-hmm.
after, people that may wanted to tighten up this or tone up this. And, there's only so much exercise is going to do, right?
Yeah.
So please understand that surgery is an option that you should strongly consider regardless of where you're
Mm-hmm.
at. I work with a lot of people that are either going into doing surgery, pre-surgery, or post-surgery. So let me ask you this. What do you think about the people that say that surgery is easy? It's the easy way of losing weight. What do you think about that? What do you say to those people?
I mean, it's definitely not the easy way out. You get the surgery, but you still have to control what you put into your body. It's a tool, like you said earlier. It's simply a tool to use. And if you can lose the weight naturally, like that's great. But, some of us like me, I've tried basically my whole life and have not had any true sustainable success. So I mean, if that's something that you can do, like that's super awesome. But for some people, like it's not an option. We've tried everything under the sun. And so we're given this, second chance, this tool to help us. But at the end of the day, it doesn't get me out of bed to go to the gym. It doesn't make me pack my lunch, make me not, eat shitty food.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to control every aspect of your life. You're simply given this tool that says, oh, okay, like you're not hungry. Like you're full. You're full. So it's still, a learning thing. You have to learn your body kind of completely over again. You have to, nourish it with the proper foods because you can't eat as much. So you have to kind of be mindful of what you are putting in it. You can definitely still eat a Snickers instead of eating a piece of chicken, and it's not going to last you near as long as a piece of chicken would.
Yeah.
So definitely in that aspect, it's definitely not the easy way out. It's simply a tool, just like a diet as a tool. If that tool works for you, then that's great. It's just a different way around.
All right. So what are some of if somebody's looking to consider surgery,
Mm-hmm.
what direction would you point them in terms of places that they can go to start their research? What would you tell them to do?
Well, I would definitely say, if you have a doctor that you've been going to, you could definitely reach out to them first. I know I have hypothyroid, so I have an endocrinologist and things like that. So that wasn't something that I did personally, but that's definitely a really good option for you. Also, if you're big into social media, like most people are, research, VSG, gastric sleeve pages on Facebook. And typically, you can get insight on people that are, have had it and things like that. And also Instagram. You're on Instagram right now. You probably have an Instagram. If you're like most of us, you probably spend most of your day on Instagram. Just start researching hashtags, like search VSG, weight loss. I know we use the WLS hashtag a lot, the VSG or RNY for bypass. So definitely research it that way and reach out to some people. Like if there's somebody that you're like, wow, their results are crazy. Like, don't be afraid to ask them like, hey, like, how did this happen? Or, what did you do? Because we'll tell you, like, we want to help everybody. We've been in your shoes. So just definitely get on Instagram or Facebook and find people or support groups and ask them questions. Don't be scared to ask questions. If it seems like a stupid question, people probably gotten asked it like 1,000 times. So it's like, don't feel bad. It's definitely nothing to be like freaked out or like, oh, they're going to be like, why is she asking me that question? Definitely not. Like,
Yeah.
it's something like we would rather like give you insight because we know what it's like to like not have all the info. So just like research it. You can even look at like before and after pictures online of surgery, and you can research the different surgeries and see like what they do. Like they'll show you diagrams of like for RNY, like how they like reroute stuff, or VSG, how they just cut it. So you can get a lot of information online,
Yeah.
and I've gotten most of mine from Instagram. So
So the relationship with food is crucial to success. Whether you're going to
yeah,
lose weight the natural way or whether you're going to lose weight, this way, you have to change the way you think about food. So, how? What advice would you give somebody to change their relationship with food? Because long term, if you just do the surgery, or if you lose a lot of weight by going to the gym and eating right, but if you don't change the way your relationship with food, all of it's going to go back to where it was in the beginning. And I've seen it
yeah,
happen time and time again where people have these surgeries or they lose weight the quote unquote natural way, and they don't change their relationship with food, and a year later, 2 years later, they're right back to where they were. So what advice would you give to someone to focus on changing the way they view their relationship with food?
I would just say, especially when you have VSG, like you're gonna have or if you have that, like you're gonna have your pre-op diet, and then afterwards, and even if you don't, like just kind of start with a clean slate. Like don't like limit yourself completely. Like if you, like I said earlier, if you don't do good with a super structured diet and you like a more inclusive diet, look at flexible dieting, look into counting your macros instead of, just calorie counting. Make it a little bit more in depth and things like that. So you can figure out like, hey, like I can make this recipe and make it healthy and replace these ingredients and make different things. So definitely find something that's sustainable for you in that way, something that you literally could eat whatever, what you're feeling. Like if you wanted to eat, you know, spaghetti and meatballs, and didn't have to worry, you could go eat. If you wanted a serving of pasta, you could fit it into your macros, or a serving of whatever. Like you can work your way around it. Not saying to do that all the time, but if you're going to go out or something like that and want to be able to have something and not feel like, okay, I have to get a salad, like, or, different foods, you can make them macro friendly. Like you can make like uh oven, baked chicken that looks fried and tastes like Chick-fil-A chicken. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
so many different things that you can do. You can get an air fryer. So it's basically just learning how to incorporate your so-called like lifestyle that you like right now, style that you can sustain. So sustainability is definitely number one. And if you can't sustain on it, then try something that's more, open and you have more variations.
And I hope you guys are taking notes, because she is dropping some jewels on you right now to help you get into great shape. Regardless of what your method is, sustainability is hugely important. It's important for the long haul. So, Leann, I got one last question for you before I let you go.
Yeah.
How close are you to where you ultimately want to be? How much more are you looking to lose, and what's your strategy to get there?
Yeah, so right now, I'm actually coming up on my year post-op next week. So I had surgery April 16th, 2018. So this 16th of April this year will be 1 year out. I've lost over 100 pounds in under a year, and I have 60 more to go. So totally, I've lost 141, and I have about 59 to go.
Nice.
So 59 pounds is what I have left until I hit 170. So when I hit 170, I will have officially lost 200 pounds.
Nice. Wow, that's big. That's
Yeah.
big. I'm so glad that you and I got a chance to meet, got a chance to talk. Your story is absolutely amazing in what you've accomplished so far, and I know that you will get to where you're going, because I have a feeling that you're
Thank you.
not going to give up until you get there. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. So
Come hell or
guys,
high water.
well, look, if you continue along the path and you continue to do what you're doing, you're going to get
Yeah.
great results. You've already gotten great
Yeah.
results, and you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that should be able to stop you from getting to where you want to be. So I want to
Yeah.
applaud you. I want to give you a hand clap
Thank you.
for sharing your story and all that you've accomplished so far. And guys, I hope that you got something out of this episode. You know, wherever you're at, just understand that everything that Leann has accomplished is possible for you too. And that's why I'm doing Weight Loss Warriors, to share stories with people just like yourself that have been there and have done it. And you too can do it as well. Remember, these episodes are going to be on my YouTube channel. So if you are watching this live and you have any questions, Leann, why don't you give people your Instagram? Because people are definitely probably going to want to reach out to you for advice
Yeah.
and tips on how they can, take your journey.
Definitely. Y'all can follow me at leeann. So it's LEEANN _ fat and then the letter 2 and then fab _ VSG. And y'all can literally DM me if y'all have any questions. I try to share pretty much every aspect that I can and be as transparent as I can on there. So if y'all have any questions, I like to share different recipes and snacks. I have a little link tree with a few products that I like that if you want to try, I can give you a discount code on. But if y'all ever have any questions, you can reach out to me and pretty much anyone else in the weight loss community. We're here to help you.
Great. So I'm also going to place some before and after pictures of Leann on the replay on my YouTube channel so you guys can see her progress. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, shame on you, but it is not too late. Go to youtube.com /fitnessmotivation, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2. I got a lot, all my episodes will be there. But I also got some really good exercise videos. So if you're looking for tips and advice on ways to change your workouts up, you'll find that there, along with some motivation. Also, if you'd like to share your story on one of my upcoming episodes of Weight Loss Warriors and you're watching this live, go ahead and DM me. But if you're not watching this live and you're watching the replay on YouTube, I'll leave a description down below in the comments, in the description, where you can email me and let's talk about your story. Last but not least, if you're looking for a coach, if you're looking for somebody to help you along your journey, then I would love to be the guy. If you want information on that, you can also DM me if you're watching this live. But if not, and you're watching this on YouTube, go in the description below, and I'm going to leave a link where I'm going to offer you a free 30 days to my online fitness and nutritional coaching program. So with that being said, this is Mr. Fitness, the body transformation specialist, with Leann, signing off. And as always, where there's a will, there's a way. And I hope you have an awesomely great day. Till next time.